As I said at the top of the show, State Superintendent Mark Johnson just unveiled a new initiative he's called North Carolina 2030, and we're going to talk to him about that and a whole lot more. Welcome back to the show, Mark Johnson.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for being here. All right, first of all, before I get into the serious stuff, I got a picture. I want to pull a picture up of you on the screen right now. We've got, you just recently ran the Krispy Kreme Challenge. I think our friend of the show, Alex Granados, took this picture. Now, I want to point out, this is you. This is what, 5 miles?
5 miles.
Eating the last of 12 donuts.
The last of 12 donuts. Kind of odd that I'm saying this is a proud accomplishment of mine, but this was, for many viewers who might already know, I challenged teachers that we should break the record for the completion for the teacher working conditions survey. And I said, you know, if we break 95%, I'll run this silly Krispy Kreme challenge where you got to run 5 miles and eat 12 donuts in under an hour. We didn't break 95%, but we still set a all-time record for our state completion. So I said I'll do it anyway. And I trained, not by eating donuts, but by jogging. And as I was doing it, I was carrying them with me and said, well, I've got only 3 donuts left in a mile. I've got to do it. And so,
well, you know, I was thinking about that this morning. Hang on, I got something for you. Because I was thinking, I mean, if you can run 5 miles and eat 12 of these, I mean, we could have an Education Matters challenge, and we can see if you can eat 12 donuts before the end of the show. Can we?
We have to see what kind of survey completion rate we get.
All right. We'll pass on that. We'll just
have to think of something good for the next teacher working conditions survey.
Well, maybe me and the crew afterwards we'll house these before the show. But I hope this doesn't bring back any bad memories.
To be fair, I have not had a donut since.
Oh, there you go. Well, I got to say, I've run that thing, but I wussed out and did not, like Alex, and I did not eat the donut. So, all right.
Thanks for that.
Let's get back to the real stuff that's going on. NC 2030, I think we've got the logo on the screen and a website too. You unveiled it at an event. Lots of teachers, educators, elected officials, business community, philanthropic folks. I was there. To make the North Carolina the best place to learn and teach by 2030. Now, there's a lot of elements in it, and we can talk about some of them, but tell me what you think the most important parts of it are.
Well, very briefly, so people know how I came up with this and how we as a team came up with this at DPI. The first 2 years that I've been in office, I've listened. I've traveled from Murphy to Manteo, seen great work going on in our schools. We've done the teacher working conditions survey, smaller surveys for educators, and we've engaged parents. So we've been listening, getting all that feedback. This plan sets up steps that we can take starting this summer with the legislative session that will put us on track. It is very ambitious. It is very ambitious to say that we will be the best state in the nation, but it's achievable. It is absolutely achievable if we start taking the right steps. What are some of those right steps? It's a lot of what educators already know. Right. One, we need more high-quality preschool opportunities for 4-year-olds. Right. We cannot keep beating the drum of 4th grade reading proficiency if we don't start earlier, because my daughter's in kindergarten right now. She had preschool opportunities. I read to her. Someone read to her every night. She's hitting the ground running. We know students coming from different backgrounds don't have that, and we're asking teachers to catch them up 5 years in 1 year. Right. We need to get high-quality preschool. We need to amend and better implement the Read to Achieve program. Okay. It has a good intent, but
pretty poor. I mean, no results really, right? I mean, that's fair, right?
Unfortunately, we have demanded more and more and more of our educators in kindergarten through 3rd grade, but we didn't follow with the 21st century supports they need, and that means not just the tools they need, and that's personalized learning, but also the professional development. We focused a lot on assessments to know where our students were, but not the steps where we're going to help them. So that's early ages.
And we focus on, and part of your proposals is about, and you've mentioned this before, the high stakes testing and all the testing. So that's something that I think is also part of your initiative, is to say that
it absolutely
we've kind of got to get this thing back. Maybe we went too far.
We absolutely went too far. Everyone will agree we went too far. It came from a good place. It came from, hey, we want to make sure we know where students are, but then we focus so much on where students are, we took away time from what they need. And that's where I really see personalized learning coming in. And personalized learning is not something that we have to introduce to the entire state from zero and go from 0 to 100 miles an hour in just 1 year. I saw this going on in classrooms all over the state. Teachers, principals, they're already breaking out of this system that is designed 100 years ago, where it's standard content, standard pace, standard amount of time before a student moves on. But some students move on when they're not ready. Some students are going too slowly for themselves. Personalized learning helps break us out of that. That's the early years. In the middle grades and high school, one of my top passions is career pathways.
Right.
Career pathways, having an honest conversation, not telling students you're only good enough for this path or you're only good enough for this path, but also not making students feel like college is the only pathway to success. There's so many pathways, and we want to educate students and parents what those are so they can make the decision for themselves.
The career pathways is a tough one, because you're right, we don't want to tell silo people and say you have to do this, and like, I'll be honest with you, sometimes it bothers me because I feel like that we talk about, well, college isn't for everyone and we should have these other paths, but a lot of folks say it. You're a lawyer, you went to law school. I mean, I went to 4-year university. I don't know, sometimes there's a little bit of, it feels kind of like, yeah, that's good for other kids.
And here's what I say to that, because a lot of, especially, I'm a supporter of school choice, and a lot of school choice proponents say, well, you're telling all our kids in our neighborhood don't go to college, well, but you're sending your kids to college, right? What I say is, we need to paint the full picture for every student, including what kind of student debt you're going to take on and what you can expect to make after college.
Right.
If we paint that for every student, I've also had a lot of people in a socioeconomic background where their students could go to college. They have told me, my student knew that wasn't for them. They went off to culinary school, and now they're a chef, and they're happy. That's what they're doing. They went to community college to get some IT experience, and now they're working in Research Triangle Park. You're exactly right. This cannot be a pigeonhole, one type of student versus another type of student. This is a broad spectrum that needs to be embraced by everyone.
Prepare every child to be career and college ready, to have all those choices available.
All the choices for
Because the reality is we track kids anyway. We just don't say it, right?
That's right.
All right, let's shift gears. You just mentioned, you mentioned school choice, so I want to go there next if I can. Look, you have been a supporter of private school vouchers, of school choice, the things that like Betsy DeVos and others in the legislature have been pushing. Now, you saw in my headlines, I mentioned something about the school in Fayetteville, but before that, like a couple weeks ago, it's been reported that there are millions of dollars that are being unspent in the Opportunity Scholarship Program. I think what the numbers I saw, about $17 million this year. There's $55 million in the budget, but only $32 million has been paid out. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question here. Senator Phil Berger's response to that was, we should loosen the voucher rules to get more money flowing. House Education Chairman Craig Horn said it's time to right-size the program because we have other priorities in education. Who's right?
I can tell you as a leader of a department that no, we should not loosen regulations for these opportunity scholarships. Basically, this is something that reflects on the department that is tasked with getting the information out about them. And just so your viewers know, the Department of Public Instruction does not run these opportunity scholarships.
Right.
It's a separate government agency. I do believe that they're...
Yeah, but you do cheerlead them on. Yes, from your bully pulpit. You're right.
Yeah, look, I believe in public education as a good.
Right.
It is something that the public system of government should make sure that every student has the opportunity to work hard and succeed. I believe that the steps that we're taking in our traditional schools will make traditional schools the best option. We know that right now, unfortunately, we don't like it, but there are some situations where it's not the best option right now for all students.
Right.
That gives these students an opportunity to succeed. I want to see the day when public schools are the best option. And that's why we have laid out a very aggressive, ambitious, but achievable goal with things that we are asking for from the General Assembly to make North Carolina public schools the best place to teach and the best place to learn.
Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and I want to get more into that because part of that is school infrastructure. So I want to get into next. Let's talk a little bit about the bond proposals because you've been out there talking about that as well. So after the break, we're going to come back with State Superintendent Mark Johnson.
Education Matters is brought to you each week in part by Paragon Bank, serving others, enriching lives.